Hey teammates, Griffin 6 here. It has long been a 108 Training Command philosophy that aspiring leaders should volunteer for the hard jobs, seek leadership opportunities, and compete for those nominative positions where they can better influence soldiers and our Army. You soldiers and competitors have done just that, and you've done well. As Army Reserve soldiers, you volunteer to serve our Army, your families, and your communities. You do so regularly and faithfully. Now you differentiate yourself by taking the extra steps in preparing and competing for the 108 Training Command's Soldier of the Year, Drill Sergeant of the Year, and Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year competitions. I want to thank your NCOs, your staffs, and your commanders who have prepared and motivated you for this event. The Army is indeed a team sport. I'm proud to serve with each and every one of you who have come here today, and I know that you would all represent us well at the Army Reserve and Department of the Army levels. My best wishes and congratulations to our competitors, first in training.
Hey teammates, Command Sergeant Major Priest here, 108 Training Command, IET. Hey, welcome to the 2020 Best Warrior Drill Sergeant of the Year competition. And we are doing it this year virtually. And as most of you know, we are still in the midst of a national pandemic known as COVID-19. And I could not be more proud of our staff, the 108 Training Command, but more importantly, our competitors and their leaders as we continue to train, continue to maintain our readiness, and continue to fight even in these conditions. And with that, our competition this year is virtual, as you'll see most of them like that. And the reason for that is priority number one are our people. Priority number one is the safety of our soldiers and their families, and that's why we're conducting this competition virtually.
Sergeant First Class Griffith, and I work in the G357. My role today was to execute the first ever virtual Best Warrior competition for the 108 Training Command.
The divisions held their own competitions prior to the COVID restrictions, but the Training Command needed to regroup and replan for a competition initially created for the time period at the height of social distancing protocol.
In December, we're in the process of planning a giant combined Best Warrior competition at Fort Knox involving all three compos of the U.S. Army. That changed for me when I was competing in All Army at Fort Benning, and I got an email from the Cadet Command Sergeant Major, Cadet Command Sergeant Major, who was in the overall NCOY of the Fort Knox competition, saying that Fort Knox and Cadet Command had made the decision to cancel.
So again, I do want to express my sincere, just not appreciation, but very proud of the adaptability and the leadership that our competitors have shown, as well as our leaders in the formations.
When the competitions across the Army Reserve started getting canceled, a lot of the commands had adopted the idea of a virtual Best Warrior competition, and I banged my fist on the table and said absolutely not. I said it was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard of, and we're not going to resort to that.
But given the option of a virtual Best Warrior competition or no Best Warrior competition, the choice was clear, and Sergeant First Class Griffith and his team quickly began familiarizing themselves with Microsoft Teams in order to make the competition work.
OBJ has not been cleared and enemy contact is likely. You have a VS-17 panel and purple smoke.
We keep the stress on them with time. Any time you're doing a competition, time is one of the best ways to induce stress. So in a sense, it was a lot less forgiving than a live competition would be. They didn't have visual cues from demonstrators. They didn't have visual cues from equipment like you would, say, if you were performing tasks in person. So the stress was applied in different ways, but I think it's evident from observing the competition today, it was there.
For Command Sergeant Major Priest, stress in a competition produces sharpness.
Just want to talk about as iron sharpens iron, as does one soldier sharpen another. It's a biblical term, but very relevant to what we do as soldiers on a daily basis. And it really is highlighted during a competition such as the Best Warrior and Drill Sergeant of the Year competition. The essence of competition And the purpose of a competition is to develop future leaders for the Army. And those leaders go back after a competition and they make their formations better and they develop and train other leaders. And that's really what the importance and the purpose of competitions are. And for me, as a senior leader of the Army, it's exciting to be in that environment. It's exciting to see the soldiers train. It's refreshing. It makes all those spirit and the fire in your belly just get excited when you see the dedication, the motivation to excellence, operating that band of excellence. And it's just great to be part of that. And I feel welcome and blessed to be part of it. But I just did want to reemphasize the idea of iron sharpens iron. As one soldier sharpens another is the essence of our program. And we make each other better. We are a brother's keeper. And so now I'll leave you with winning matters, as the Chief of Staff of the Army says very well. First in training, this will defend.
I am a drill sergeant. I will assist each individual in their efforts to become a highly motivated, well-disciplined, physically and mentally fit soldier, capable of defeating any enemy on today's modern battlefield.
I will instill pride in all I train, pride in self, in the Army, and in country. I will insist that each soldier meets and maintains the Army standards of military bearing and courtesy consistent with the highest traditions of the U.S. Army.
I will lead by example, never requiring a soldier to attempt any task I would not do myself. But first, last, and always, I'm an American soldier, sworn to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. I am a drill sergeant.
Without further ado, it is that magical time where we announce the winners of the 2020 108 Training Command Best Warrior Competition and Drill Sergeant of the Year Competition. First of all, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for what you do for the Army and to make our nation great. So without further ado, let's make the announcements. So from the 1st Brigade, 95th Training Division, the Soldier of the Year is Specialist Thompson Stanley. Awesome. The 2020 108 Training Command Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year from the 3rd Brigade, 95th Training Division, Staff Sergeant Latham Benjamin. And finally, for the 2020 108 Training Command Drill Sergeant of the Year winner from the 2nd Brigade, 95th Training Division, Sergeant First Class Price Shane. Outstanding job. All right, teammates, what a great competition. And once again, thanks for your adaptability. And I want to remind you once again, these are our champions. Everyone is a winner, including the soldiers unit and each individual. And as we always say, iron sharpens iron as one soldier sharpens another. Train first in training.